When I first entered into the real estate business, I was pretty much starting from scratch. No customers, no database of past clients to fall back on, just a strong desire to make it work and a sense that I needed to get my name and face in front of as many people as possible. The only thing I knew for sure was that personal branding would be my ticket to success, and I had to build something that would stand out in a crowded market. At that time, I didn't have the luxury of waiting for leads to trickle in. I needed to create momentum and fast. So I made a bold decision. I branded myself as the City King, the top agent for selling properties in the city. Now, it might have sounded audacious, a little bold, especially for someone who was just starting out, but I knew I had to project confidence and expertise if I wanted anyone to take me seriously. Creating a personal brand, the City King. Personal branding became my weapon of choice. I started with the basics, defining what I wanted my brand to represent. I wanted to be an expert in city real estate market. I wanted to be a trusted name and a relentless drive to get the best results for my clients. I wasn't sure how to get there yet, but I knew if I marketed myself as a top producing agent, I started believing it. And more importantly, so would my potential clients. I plastered the City King brand everywhere. I created business cards, flyers, and a strong presence online, all emphasizing that I was the go-to expert for city real estate. I was relentless about putting myself out there, making sure my name and face were everywhere potential clients looked, starting with no customers. It was tough in the beginning. I had no past customers to call up, no established relationships in the industry, no real track record, but I understood something crucial. Perception is reality. I needed to become the expert in people's minds before they would even consider working with me. I didn't have years of experience to lean on, but I had determination and a clear strategy. So I networked like crazy. I attended every event I could find, shaking hands and introducing myself as the City King. I focused on consistency. If someone saw my name once, they were going to see it again and again and again until they knew who I was without even thinking. Slowly but surely, I started to notice that people were beginning to recognize me. The power of social selling. I also drove and discovered and started to dive into social selling. I drove that thought all the time. I leveraged my social media presence to build connections and engage with potential clients. I wasn't just posting property listings. I was sharing tips, insights, and advice on the city real estate market. I made sure my profile photo was sharp. My bio spoke to my experts, and every post I made was designed to build my credibility. I knew I had to become a valuable resource in my community if I wanted to stand out. People started following me, and not just to see listings, but to get informed about the market. This was just the beginning of my transition from just being the new realtor to someone seen as a trusted source of information. Overcoming imposter syndrome. In the early stages, there was always a nagging thought in the back of my mind. What if someone called me out? What if they realize I'm not actually a top producing agent yet? But I had to push through those doubts. I learned that people trust confidence, and I made sure that I projected that confidence in everything I did, even when I didn't always feel it. I used every interaction, every phone call, every handshake as an opportunity to reinforce my brand. I made sure I never let on that I was still building my client base. To everyone else, I was already successful. And over time, that perception became my reality. Breaking into the top 5 in 1 year. My strategy paid off. Within 1 year, I went from being one of the newest agents in my office, unknown and without a single customer, to breaking into the top 5. My relentless self promotion and focus on personal branding gave me the edge. I wasn't just another realtor, I was the city king. My success didn't come from my experience or a big marketing budget. It came from showing up every single day and making sure people knew who I was and what I stood for. I leveraged every opportunity to build relationships. And once I landed a client, I made sure to over deliver so they would spread the word. Consistency leads to top 1%. As my business grew, I didn't change my approach. I doubled down on what was working. I kept pushing my brand, staying consistent with my messaging, and always positioning myself as an expert. Over the next few years, I found myself consistently in the top 1%, not just in my office, but across the city. It wasn't just about closing deals, it was about the reputation I had built. My personal brand had become a magnet for clients. People wanted to work with me because they believed I was the best. I worked hard to live up to that belief. Leveraging analytics for personal branding and social selling. As my business scaled, I realized that tracking my success was just as important as building my brand. I started using analytical tools on social media, analytical tools to measure how well my strategy was working. Tracking metrics like engagement, reach, and conversions helped me see what was resonating with my audience and what needed tweaking. By keeping an eye on the numbers, I could refine my approach. For instance, I noticed that my posts about the local market had higher engagement than generic property listings. So I started creating more content focused on city-specific trends. This not only helped me connect with more potential clients, but also strengthened my positioning as the go-to expert in my city and for real estate. Using tools like Instagram Insights and Facebook and analytics and LinkedIn stats, I monitored everything and how often people clicked on my posts and how many new connections I was making. It was amazing. Analytics allowed me to identify which content worked best, which social selling tactics were paying off, and where I needed to shift my focus. This data-driven approach assured that I wasn't just shooting in the dark. I knew what I was working with and what I could double down on, and those efforts kept me growing. Lessons learned from personal branding and social selling. Looking back, the key to my success in real estate wasn't having the best properties or the most experience. It was creating a personal brand that people could trust and recognize. By marketing myself as the City King, I crafted a story around my expertise and made sure that story reached as many people as possible. Social selling played a massive role as well. Engaging on platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook wasn't just about posting listings. It was about building relationships, sharing valuable insights, and positioning myself as a thought leader in the real estate space. The most important lesson I learned: success starts with how people perceive you. Let me say that again. Success will start with how people perceive you. If you can control that narrative, the results will follow. My journey from having no clients to being in the top 1% proves just how powerful personal branding and social selling can be, even when you're starting from the bottom. Conclusion. If you're new to real estate or any industry and feel like you're starting from zero, remember this. Friend, it's not about what you don't have. It's about how you present what you do have. I didn't have a database or referrals when I started, but I built a brand, projected confidence, and engaged with my audience authentically. That simple mindset and strategy turned me from a beginner into one of the top agents in my city. And friend, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Listen, I would love to connect with you offline. I would love to hear your story. I would love to be a part of your journey, love to be a part of your success, to be your coach, your trainer, to be your cheerleader. We would love to connect with you, help fill in the gaps so that you can take what you're doing from the beginning to the top percentile. All you have to do is click on the link below, and we will get you plugged in to our community, and we want to thrive with you in your success. Frequently asked questions about personal branding and social selling. Question number 1. How can I start building my personal brand in real estate? Start by defining what makes you unique in your market. Create a consistent online presence that reflects that identity and engage with your audience authentically. Question number 2. What is the key to successful social selling? Focus on building relationships rather than pushing sales. Engage with potential clients by providing valuable insights and consistently showing up in their feed. Question number 3. How do I overcome imposter syndrome when starting out? Believe in your value and project confidence even if you're still building your client base. The more you act like an expert, the more others will see you as one. Question number 4. How can I stay consistent with my personal brand? Make sure your messaging, visuals, and values are aligned across all platforms. Stay active in conversions and having conversations related to your field, and never, ever let your brand fade into the background. Finally, question number 5. How long does it take to see results? With consistent effort, you can start to see real results, in many cases, in as little as 90 days, as I did. But keep in mind, branding is a long-term game. The more you invest in it, the bigger the payoff. Thank you.